Okay, I think we are live now, right? All right. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining this session today, and welcome to the very first episode of Unboxing DevRel, which is with none other than Francesco Ciulla, as he told me the pronunciation, if I have done it correctly. Correct me if I'm wrong. So, yeah, we are here today to discuss about all the things regarding DevRel, as the name suggests, Unboxing DevRel. So, we will be talking all the things until we completely unbox this particular role with Francesco today. So, Francesco, would you like to introduce yourself to the audience?
Yes, but first of all, let me say that this is not an unboxing video, so we are not unboxing stuff in this video. Just to be super clear. So, hi everyone, I'm Francesco from Rome. I'm a 38. I am a developer advocate for DailyDotDev currently. So basically, maybe also one of the reasons why I've been invited here. I'm usually a host and not a guest, so for me it sounds a bit strange, but I'm super happy, especially to kickstart this series with my Yank. Have I
Yeah,
pronounced
it's
it well? Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Other stuff. I'm very active on Twitter, YouTube, Twitch, but also Instagram. I like to create content, especially videos, especially live streams, especially podcasts. So I think that I am in the right place. Other stuff. I've been working for the European Space Agency. I have a past not as a software engineer, but as a volleyball coach, which has nothing to do. But we will see because maybe they have something in common. So I'm ready, Mayak.
All right, Francesco. Thanks for your introduction. By the way, it was quite descriptive. I think even I didn't know which session is it for you as a guest. Like, can you tell me that?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. 40, 50. I don't know. I don't know. I made some. I made some. I made some. I have a GitHub repository with Francesca as a guest. Please start that.
So yeah, I just you just shared that with me and I saw it, and it was quite fascinating that you have done a lot of these kind of content, and which is quite amazing, I think. And before getting into your, like, you seems to be a serial content creator, but before getting into that, we will first start off asking about the topic of the day, which is DevRel, right? So to start with, I have one question for you, which is, what do you think about developer advocacy, or we can say developer relations, and what is developer relations for you?
Nice. This is a great question. I'm connected with many developer advocates and also people working in the DevRel, and it's I think we have different perspectives. For me, being a developer advocate, it means to be like the person in the middle, but not as a hacker, but is in another sense. So basically, you are the person in the middle between the developers and the company, the product, the startup, whatever. So basically, you are done. So you are, you will get all the feedbacks from all the users and you report to the company. Then you help the company, I don't know, to talk about new features, to organize events, live streams, polish the videos. I'm working on the TikTok of my company, and now I have the idea. So you work on different platforms. Some developer advocates, they also code. Just want to point out this. In this role, I'm coding really low. So just I think 5%, but it depends on the role. This is another interesting topic.
Yeah, definitely. And what do you think is the last goal with the developer advocacy, Francesco? Like, you just told me what is your perspective on developer advocacy, but what are we trying to achieve at the end of the day with that? Like, as a company, if I am working with a certain company as a developer advocate, then what I am expected to do for them? Like, I am just like, am I just supposed to organize some events, or maybe create content? And okay, I'm doing all of it, but what is the end goal? How is it linked with anything in that company?
Yeah, this is a great question. Okay, it depends on how the company what the company is doing now, which is the past of the company. So, for example, if a company has just got started, the first idea is to increase the awareness. So it's basically you are like you go on the street and you start shouting, "Okay, the dev is cool." I mean, I take my company as an example, of course. So I make also a bit self promotion in the meanwhile. So
Plugged in at the right place.
yeah, of course. So this is the increasing the awareness. So like try this application, try the premium version. So this is the first step, which is I think one of the hardest one. Then there is another step, and I think that currently I'm in this second step, which is to increase the engagement inside the application. And that's very important, because if you have 1 million subscribers, but nobody is paying you, if you don't have a good business model, by the way, DailyDotDev is free, which makes my life as a developer advocate 10 times easier. So I suggest you, if you can, find a company which is a free product. So basically you are stealing your paycheck. No, I'm joking, of course. And but it's very important to, I think that one of the most important things is to be honest, because it's very, very hard. For example, if you don't like something of the product, you should say this, especially to the people who are working there. Don't hide things, because you are the face of the company. So you can't hide yourself, and if you want to create the trust, even with users, but also for you to sleep well. I think you do your job, but you should never fake. So if there is a feature that, for example, you like a lot, you can say, okay, so this is a killer feature. I made this video a couple of weeks ago. If there is something you don't like, you can just say this, or you can show the problems. So maybe we have this and we will try to fix this. So it's very, very important to be completely honest if you can. Otherwise, I think you are in the wrong place as a developer advocate.
Mm-hmm. And like, okay, I'm doing all of it, and maybe I have ideas to integrate all of those things, in collaboration with the company. But what if I am suppose I'm the solo developer advocate with the company, and the company is also handling this role for the very first time. So how do you set your expectations, and how do you expect the company to set expectations with you and with this role? Like, do you have any perspective on this? I don't know, like, if your company has more DevRels, but yeah, I have seen many companies have these days, solo DevRels, and they are only handling all of those things. So yeah, what is your perspective on that part?
For now, I am the only developer advocate for DailyDotDev. This can change in the future, so this video can be outdated, and we have to make another one. In that case, you have to invite me again. But in the meanwhile, this is my answer, and I think that the first step is, as a developer advocate, is to understand the company, the needs. Because if you don't understand, if you just start making live streams for your company, you don't even know the product, there can be problems. So first thing, you should know the product. You should be a user yourself. You should understand what the product is, because you probably will also be in charge to reply to some questions, propose new features. So there are a lot of things that you should do. As I said before, users will give you feedback like, oh, can we add this icon? Can we add this feature? And if you already have an answer, it's good for you. Let's say like, oh, we're already working on this. So understand the product, understand what the hell is going on, basically. And then you can start to work.
Okay. Well, that was like most of what I also think of, dealing with this particular case. And yeah, rightly said, I completely agree with that. So, Francisco, how do you think somebody who is, currently maybe watching this video and thinking of becoming a developer advocate after knowing, okay, this role demands this. So, what do you think can be a roadmap for a certain, individual to follow, so that that certain individual can land up a job in developer advocacy, or not just job? I think how I think of it is more related to your personality. How do you do things in general, and what do you really like in life generally? Because why I started developer advocacy was my personality aligns with whatever I do before landing into this role, and after landing into this role. Some of the responsibilities have increased, no doubt, but the core remains the same, which is I like creating content, I like interacting with people, I like maybe replying to people who have some questions. So these kind of things. But yeah, I would like to know your take on this.
Yeah, sure. I'll say don't force to become a developer advocate. Like you wake up in the morning, oh my god, you have to become a developer advocate, because this is something which will be very natural, because if you really are a content creator, especially if you're an expert in a field. For example, for my first role as a developer advocate, it was related with Docker, for example. And to be honest, more than related, because I got the offer the day after becoming a Docker captain. So it's strictly related to that. So if you can, it would be very, very nice to find a niche and focus on that niche as a content creator. So I think your path should start being a content creator. I don't know if it's possible, but I think that if you are the only developer advocate, you should be ready for live streams, videos. You should be shameless, be ready to make podcasts. So you can't have problems, barriers. Otherwise, you are doing the wrong job. It's like that. I don't know. You want to paint houses, but you don't want to get dirty. So in that case, it's a problem. Or maybe I don't know. Yeah, like you want to be a farmer, but without dirtying yourself. So it's a problem. In that case, maybe that's not the job for you. So you have to be ready to expose yourself, which is, yeah, we are laughing, but this is also something which can be very hard, especially for introverts. So this is something that maybe you need to work on, to maybe little by little, sharing some pictures, sharing some videos. You have to be prepared. You can't say, I want to be a developer advocate if you can't make a video. This doesn't mean that you can't be a developer advocate, but you should think in the long run. So starting focus on maybe small videos, maybe posting something on YouTube or whatever platform. So I would focus on two things: the content creation part. So you should have the mindset of the content creator. It is very important. And the communication. Increase your communication skills. Try to be funny. I know I'm not funny yet, but I'm working on this. I try. Sometimes
I
it
think you are
happens.
enough.
Sometimes it happens. People laugh probably just to please me, but it's very, very important to increase your communication skills. How do you increase your communication skills? With practice. You have to make one videos. You can experiment. You can, I don't know. Now I've stopped. So for example, now I'm communicating something different. Okay. And there are also other things, like you should not make a video like this. It would be very, very bad for your communication skills, for example. So yes, so make videos, make practice, also related to articles and other stuff. So and I'm not joking. If you see my very first videos, I was like, "Hey everyone, how are you?" So it was a totally different person. It was less than 2 years ago. So if I can be a developer advocate, everybody can be a developer advocate, 100%.
All right. Well, that was a very interesting answer, I would say, but it was more focused towards the content creation part, right? And what do you think about the other, rest of the three C's? I have seen that you create some, I think, a space. You organize a space which is based on four C's, if I'm not wrong, right?
What is
So,
a Twitter space? No, I'm joking. I'm addicted to Twitter spaces. No, I want to say something. I'm not addicted to Twitter spaces, and I can stop whenever I want. This Saturday, I have 2 Twitter spaces, by the way. And so what is 4C? 4C is the cool community of content creators. It's a community that I have founded, and I'm still active there.
okay.
So you didn't know this. So it's just
No,
a
I didn't know
community.
this.
Yeah, it's a Discord. It's a community focused more on Discord. And yeah, about this community of content creators, which is not for now related to DailyDotDev mainly, but before I think I made some mistakes in this community. Like I was just saying, like join. Now I'm working more from the inside, so I'm increasing the engagement. And if a person, if they get interested, they come into this community. I would be super happy to have you. We also organize collaborations, Twitter Spaces every Wednesday, workshops on Saturday. So now I'm working in the second phase. So, for example, I've also improved my skills as a community builder. I never built a community before, so I'm increasing this community skills when I became a developer advocate. So
Mhm.
yes,
So,
that's it.
what is community building for you? Like, is it all about getting people on your Discord server, or maybe getting them
Absolutely
join
not.
the Slack channel, or is it
No.
more than that? Because I think there is a myth that if you have, suppose, thousands of people on your
Mhm.
Discord server, then people start calling it a community. So is it only that much, or do you think it is more than that? And if it is more than that, then what is it exactly?
It is way more than this. This is exactly the mistake that I did. I just say, okay, if I invite, I don't know, thousands of people, something will happen, and something happened. But now I'm working more on the activities, giving people a reason to come there. For example, they get a shout out, or they connect with someone else. We think about the ideas. We also talk about, like the resources. Important It's important to create a community with a goal, with not just a community for, I don't know, just let's make a community. So a community should always have a goal. For example, this is a community focused for the content creator. So we can talk about we talk about videos, articles, and other stuff. So yes, so it's this part is very important. Yeah, and I think I made some mistakes with just inviting people, but then working more on the outside, the awareness,
Right.
and not so much in the engagement inside the community. My microphone is moving.
Right. So the other one aspect of it, as far as I know, is having the code side of it, right? That's why, like, I was able to apply for these roles when I joined my very first role as a developer advocate. And you rightly mentioned that for you at Daily.dev, it is less of coding, more of, I think, content creation and building the community, right? But when it comes to the coding part, how much important do you think it is in general to be in this role, and how comfortable should you be with coding or programming in general?
I think this is strictly related to the company you work for, and you should be very clear when you apply during the interview, at least during the interview, because for example, I have some friends who now are developer advocates, but for example, they suffer if they don't code a lot. For me, it's not a problem because I code also during my free time, some Web3 crazy stuff. So for me, it's not a problem, to be honest. And I will not define myself like as a pure programmer. So since I come from the sport world, communication, physical activities, so I don't suffer if I don't code for half a day or for one day. So, but for example, there are some people who are maybe they have a huge background as a developers. They also see developer advocates as something which is something strange. They don't like. So maybe if you like just to code, you can just code. If you're looking for a developer advocate job, be sure about, okay, so make this question clear, like, okay, how much will I code? Of course, this can change in the future, but at least when you apply, I don't know, if you apply for a job and you say, I want to code for 50% of my time, and then you never code for 1 month, then you can say, okay, but we have talked about this. So this is
Right.
important because I know I have some friends of mine who are developer advocates and they suffer that they don't code enough. So in that case, maybe developer advocate is not the job for you. There is nothing wrong with that. For me, it's not a problem because I always find some crazy ideas and some excuses to code. I still should code my own blog almost from zero. So coding,
Nice.
there is a lot of code to do. So that's the problem. Is the opposite. Nice.
All right. And I remember in my interviewing process also, like when I got interviewed by a company when I was applying for the role. Some people in the interview panel asked me that, okay, you have been an iOS developer before, and now that you will be entering this role, are you comfortable with less coding? Right. So my answer to that was, see, I like coding, and this is a part of what I like to do. So if I really want to code, I maybe do it in my free time, maybe on the weekends. So that's not a problem for me because I don't really code to earn. Sometimes I do, like I was doing that before this particular role. But yeah, this is something that I really like to, apart from all the earning aspect of it. So that was my take to it. But when you joined, how did it went for you? Like, was it this smooth that, okay, you were very, happy with whatever you were getting in terms of the coding part, or were you having doubts or questions about this in your mind?
Yes. I've coded for example, I've coded the documentation website. I don't know if you know what Docusaurus is. Basically, it's a tool to create documentation. So basically, it's a tool that helps you to create already a website with all the titles that you click. There is also a search engine inside. So I've coded that part, for example,
All
the
right.
structure of this part from scratch, from zero.
Mm-hmm.
So this I really enjoyed this part. I still have to work on this, of course, because I'm never done with documentation. But yes, so for example, I've worked for this. Now we have done some live streams, but in this, I think in this, especially in this role, I haven't coded a lot. But yes, it depends on your needs. I'm happy with this, to be honest. I don't know. Maybe I am an advocate developer. I don't know how can we call this more advocate than developer, but for me it's totally fine. I can make a live stream for hours during a Saturday, and so I don't miss coding. So I've
Right.
done a
That's
yeah.
almost the same for me as well. Like I do it whenever I get time. Maybe I have free time on the weekends, basically. So I try to do it that day, or maybe I keep learning new things also in the technical side of it, because I don't want to, lack on that part of my job or maybe my personality, because I like the technical aspect of whatever I know. So I keep brushing them as well, brushing them up as well whenever I get some time. So yeah, that was all about it. But you talked about your journey to your job, but let's start with the very beginning of how did you land in this role, because I think that is something which is really interesting, and most of the people who already follow you doesn't know it very clearly, I believe. Like they know half of the picture, but I would like to know more about it so that they can also know 100% of it. So let's start with what you were doing before, and how come you landed in this role. Why, how did you choose to get into this role, or was it a by chance thing that happened to you? So can you please go ahead and tell us more about your journey so far?
Yeah, sure. So, just as I said before, I've been a developer advocate for the European Space Agency, and long story short, I quit this job in March 2021. Are we in 2022? Yes, sorry for the pandemic. Sometimes I forget. So when I quit this job, but not because I didn't like. The problem it was that I could not like create content while working. So basically, I was like Neo. I don't know if you have seen Neo in Matrix. That basically you have two lives: one life that you code and one life as a content creator. After a
Right.
while, you basically start having some problems. So I decided to go in the content creation part. I didn't quit my job to become a developer advocate because I still didn't know exactly what it was. But when I quit in March, I did some job as a freelancer, but it was not exactly what I was looking for. So I focused on the content creation part. So I focused on content creation. I focused on creating some Docker videos, Docker content, and basically I think it was June or May or June, I became Docker captain, which is basically an ambassador of the official Docker company. I think I am one of the
Oh,
most active in the world. And so after becoming a Docker captain, I got this offer. So, for example, for me, I usually don't look actively for a job as a developer advocate. Hey, Pubalan.
Pubalan,
It's
yeah.
yeah, it's so basically they offered me this job. It was another company called Tiny Stacks, and it was related to Docker and AWS. So I started creating content for them, also coding. So this was my first experience
Okay.
um, as a developer advocate. And then I started to get the idea of what a developer advocate is. What do they do? How do they do this? Don't just post one Twitter per day, download, try this application. Otherwise, it doesn't work, of course. So it's more like you have to really work a lot under the hood. Yeah, you have to understand what users like, trying to reply to all of them, try to be kind and polite, of
I
course.
like to interrupt you there. You
Yeah.
said that you have to understand how the users respond and what they think about these things, right? Whatever product you are promoting
Mhm.
or supporting, you can say. So how do you get to know that? Because it's easy to say, like we as a developer, as developer advocates, always tell people, okay, you have to understand people's behavior or developers' behavior. But what is the way, constructive way to do that? So what do you think?
This is a great question. And for example, in the .dev, this is done very, very well. And this is not, and don't want to say that this is bad for me, but this is a lot of work for me. So for example, users can give us feedback from the official website. So they can send a message which turns in, which is an email, which turns into Slack messages inside our Slack channel. Then they can insult on Twitter. No, don't do that. They can send a DM on Twitter. Other things that they can do, they can give a feedback also on YouTube during some live streams. So there are on GitHub. By the way, DailyDotDev is an open source project, more than 5,000 or 6,000. We are close to stars on GitHub. So also sometimes we also get feedbacks on the repository itself. Also the documentation has its own repository. So we get other feedback. So you will find a way to give to give feedback to the dev. Don't worry. Probably I'll be in charge to reply to you, and it's very, very important. This feedback part we really care.
Mhm.
We care so much that after using the dev for 2 weeks, you can schedule a call with me or someone else of the team, even the CEO. So you can talk with the CEO for 30 minutes or me.
Mhm.
In that case, you have bad luck if you talk with me instead of the CEO. And yes, so you can give a feedback for sure, and we listen to all of them. We read all of them, and we also try to reply to 99% of them. Yeah. So yes.
Okay. Okay. So let's take one like real example to get more into more depth of how developer advocacy really works. So I would like to ask you, like, why did you join Daily.Dev as a DevRel, and what is your day-to-day life at this job? Like, what do you really
Okay.
do? Because sometimes people confuse developer relations with getting sales, maybe doing the marketing work. So there's a thin line between them, right? So
Absolutely.
let's
Absolutely.
talk about that, because that is something which doesn't get talked about that
Okay.
much, and
Yep.
that's why this confusion already flows off into this community of
Mhm.
devrels. So yeah,
Okay.
what is your take on that?
Okay, so first of all, I joined it because they paid me. So being paid is good. No, I'm joking, of course. So this is a plus, of course. Then jokes aside, I already knew the CEO because I had him on my YouTube channel. So if one day I'll have a company, I'll try to hire you, of course. And so having known the person in a call like this one, it
Right.
was about 1 year ago. It was 13 months ago.
Okay.
So having known, since I already knew, I also, since it was a live stream, an interview, I already knew the background of the company, but because the CEO told me during the live stream, it was not a
Okay.
live stream, it was a recorded call, but yet,
Okay.
like an interview. And so I already knew this. And another thing that for me it was very good that he came with a very clear, transparent offer, because I don't know, I receive I don't want to say hundreds, but for at least I don't know 5 or 6 serious offers almost every day. Not talking
Right.
about LinkedIn. I'm not talking about LinkedIn recruiters coming at you. I'm talking about the serious one, of course.
Right.
Um, but in this case, it was very clear, even the range salary. So everything was clear. So this
Hmm.
helped me a lot because it's different. Because you say like, oh, would you like to work for me? I say, okay, who you are? We don't know each other. So getting known already that person increased the chance by a ton. So this really made me join that. Then I was
Right.
happily surprised that also the people there are super kind. I'm not saying this because we are on YouTube, by the way, and they can see this video. They are really kind. We do coffee breaks. I think we have shown the pictures of ourselves, the weddings, the me when I was a child. So we are super friendly, we can say. And I think this is
Right.
super important, especially if you work remotely and you miss like the human contact. So finding the good team, you know what I mean. It's a very, very important part. I think in that case
That's
you
true.
have to be lucky, because for example, if you make an interview, at least you can see the place where you will work. If people, I don't know, are arguing, if people are shouting, if people are quiet,
That's true.
and
And your
it's
productivity level goes, drastically down over there, like in that kind of team environment.
yeah. And I remember, I still remember some days. Okay, we are on YouTube, but okay. If you forget your earphones, your productivity goes almost to zero as a developer. So I said,
Right.
okay, so sorry, I can't work today because I don't have the earphones. Because if you can't focus, it's super hard. You have to change maybe activity. So yes, this is another story. Maybe I'm an introvert, but I didn't. I know that there are a lot of places in the world when there is a lot of traffic. I feel them, but still in Rome, I can see that sometimes you can be stuck for hours in the traffic.
Oh,
And yes, some people say that. Nothing can replace working in an office. Hearing the smell, my office didn't smell that good, to be honest. I'm sorry, but but it was not the case. My house is better. Of course, you have to improve. Maybe meet a friend, go out. Maybe when the COVID will be over. But
right.
I think that in the future I would prefer maybe to work 16 hours per day. Maybe I'm already doing this instead of just doing again 3 hours of commute every day. So this is my thoughts. So of course, everybody, if you want to go, if you live close to your office and you like that,
Now, even
nobody
I'm
is
I
forcing you.
prefer working like remotely so that I can work at ease, so that my productivity can be, maximized.
Yeah, of course. Or maybe at least
But
you
I'll
can.
drive you back to the question, which is the latter half part of it, which is uh, developer advocacy sometimes get confused with marketing and getting sales. So what do you think particularly about that? Because that is something I think which is a very concerning topic, and that can also spoil your team environment, because sometimes you may join somewhere as a DevRel, and finally you realize that, okay, I was not expecting this to be expected from me as a DevRel, right? So what do you think about this? Like, is it marketing? Because generally you see DevRel role on any career page of a company to be under a marketing profile, right? So is it actually marketing or something related to marketing, or what is it like? Where is that thin line?
No, no, it's not marketing. Otherwise, it would be called the developer marketing or developer advocacy and marketing. So this is
True.
not marketing. We are not trying to steal any job. This is another job. What you have in common is that if you make a sale, if someone subscribe to the tool or whatever, both you and the marketing person, if there is no marketing person, that it's you basically, you both will be very happy along with all the people. So you will be happy because you have worked in a different way. The role of the developer advocate is to connect, especially with other developers. So this is the main goal. For example, for us, since DailyDotDev is a tool for developers, it's basically a blog aggregator, is the perfect example. So the users are developers. So for me, it's super easy. Okay, so like if we made like I don't know websites for dentists, I don't know why dentists now. I will just talk to developers from a technical point of view. So in my case, maybe it's a bit an exception because our product is also for developers, but this doesn't is not always this case. You can also be a developer advocate for a company which is just has other parts, and it's not about selling something. It's more about talking maybe from like an expert point of view. So you can. I think it's funny because you can also go into details. You can talk about, I don't know, the frameworks that you've used. I don't know. We have to switch to, Angular, the latest version. Why are you using
Right.
Angular, by the way? I don't know, but it's just to from a technical perspective. Yeah, developers are curious. They like to know how things are going. For example, I can say something a bit funny. We have made a change on our product, like we changed a bar. So basically, we have removed this, let's say, a feature that almost nobody was using. we got some feedback on people saying that, oh, but there is a bug, we can't see that feedback anymore. So people give a feedback from a developer perspective. So
Right.
we have to say, because they are they are technical, so I say, oh, we have a problem, or maybe we should solve this bug. Instead, it was like everything, it was documented on a change log, but people don't read the change logs all day long, of course. But it was
Right.
funny. So I think in our case, it's we are a bit different product and tool, free, of course.
Hmm. That's interesting. I think I also got some, very good perspective about this, because even when I thought of developer advocacy for the very first time, I think 1 or 2 years before, I was also confused with this question, that is it developer marketing? Like, you don't really get to know with the name itself. Like, okay, developer advocacy means advocating for something with developers, right? Like, for developers. But there is some confusion is still around that, because it is basically something which comes under marketing. So yeah, thank you so much for answering that. uh, I would like to know, Francisco, that since this role is quite new in today's world, because it has been there for last 10 years, I believe, but it is surging now with all the product based companies, or service, the companies that are providing some sort of software to the developers. With that, the role requirement is surging in general. And what do you think about that? Like, what should be the go-to resources for people, if you have to name one or two? So what should be them to get to know more about this? We at DevRel Stories are also trying to tackle that particular aspect, in which we try to simplify things which are related to DevRel. What is expected out of you, what it is exactly, and all the other things regarding that. But in your opinion, what are the go-to resources for anyone who wants to learn more about this?
Yes, sorry for the shameless plug, but I also interview a lot of people, and many of them are developer advocates, because usually, since I also now do this job, I look for people who make the same thing, because they're also helping me. Now, I don't know if I'm helping you, but for example, now we are having this discussion. So
Right.
uh, I don't know. I don't have like a link. Maybe I should create. Thank you for the idea. Maybe I should create an article or thread or resources. There are some very good articles, but now I can't remember exactly the title. But there are many about what is. There are something. I should have prepared this. Maybe I'll send you the link after, so you can share.
Sure, sure, sure.
But yes, so yes, so it's very important to have model to follow. I usually use, since I come from the sport world, I usually have a model, performance model. So this is how my brain works. So I see, for example, I've talked to Amir Shevat, which is like the Twitter VP.
Hmm.
So, and it's also has been the first developer advocate for Slack and Twitch. So that's
Wow.
a little bit important. And so what I suggest is to network with other developer advocates. There are a lot of resources. I'm doing one DevRel roundtable every month. It's like
Hmm.
6 or 7 developer advocates from PayPal, Microsoft, a lot of AWS, a lot of
Right.
cool companies.
Who have been doing it for long, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yes. I also do it as spaces. So, I think I've seen that there are many different perspective, different approaches. So,
Hmm.
to be honest, I like a lot the also talking from, let's say, human perspective. I think it has a lot of to do with like a human connection. So I
Right.
think this is very. It's not something that it's can underestimated, and you can say you can't just show the statistics. You can say like I don't know, our website say it loads in 0.1 seconds. Okay, that's cool, but that's
Right.
not enough. That's not enough to
Right.
convince people to use your website. So it's important to talk about how people are using that, how people are connecting them. Also, stories about the product, the story of the product itself. For example, DailyDotDev started as a side project of just one
Right.
developer, and
Okay.
now it has 100 of thousands of users.
Wow. That's
So
interesting.
it's interesting. it's interesting. Also, the story, you see.
Yeah.
We also another case, for example, we another emotional stories that we always say about contributing to open source, right? One
Right.
of our employees is a person who made a contribution and then he has been hired from the company.
Wow.
Another
Wow.
story. I have many if you want. Yes, it's cool.
That's big, I think. Like being an open source contributor, you can also land a job itself, right?
Yeah,
That's you can call a perk of being an open source contributor. And in today's world, I think that is the best thing that you can do to yourself as a developer, because you are not just using a skill in the right place, you're also making a big contribution in something that millions of people are already using, right? Like for example, daily.dev. There are many other projects in the same way which are open source, and a lot of people are using them, so you're making direct contribution to that one, which is a big thing, I believe, as a developer. I personally feel. But yeah, since this role is evolving every other year, what do you think about DevRel in next 5 to 10 years? Like, what do you think how it may evolve?
this is a great question, and probably I'll fail this answer, but I'll try to give my point of view for sure. So, I think that there will be more developer advocates because now
Mhm.
everybody's they want to be, because the trick is that developer advocates are also content creators. So since now also with the pandemic we have many new content creators. I am one of them.
Right.
Those people are looking for developer advocacy role, and companies so there will be more developer advocates in the future. I think what we'll see in the future is that there will be less solo developer advocates. At least I hope so for you and me. So we have so more organized. I think that it will be more organized, like it will be something that you it's not that you can or don't have. You will have
Right.
this when maybe now we are on a stage that if you have a startup or a little company, you hire just one developer advocate. So okay, so basically
Yeah.
they do everything. It's not exactly like this. So probably you will hire like I don't know, like 3 people, maybe one developer advocate and two maybe two I don't know, freelancer, or maybe they will be focused maybe on different platforms. So I don't know, like you'll have like a real good person for videos, a person for feedbacks, another person for Twitter. So now basically you have like a one man show or one woman show. So you have a woman show. So I think we will see small teams in the future rather than just one cool developer advocate as me and you, of course.
Yeah, thanks for calling me a cool developer advocate, by the way.
I would have
But
said
yeah,
this 21, by the way. It's not because of you.
I just hope that it was a genuine one. It was not just for this video. But yeah, thank you so much once again. So what do you think, Francesco, about the evolving world in the tech space, which is coming up with a lot of possibilities? Like we are seeing AR evolving each day, each year. We are seeing this metaverse space is coming into the picture, which is almost coming to a reality now. It has been talked about, like we have been talking about this for last 5 to 10 years, but now you can see it is actually coming into the implementation, and people are actually hoping that it will be in place in next 2 to 3 years, right? In terms of the applications that we are currently using. Same way, we are seeing that okay, this NFT space is big, the whole Web3 space is big. So how do you connect this particular aspect of tech side with the developer advocacy? Like, is it going to be the same way how we have been doing it so far? Because currently we have some products which are completely different from this particular space, which is Web3. So is there any connection in between or similarities in between, or there is, like, what do you think about that?
Okay, so developer advocate they should create content. So sorry, so the content will be created on any possible platform. So if the metaverse will be a thing, I'm not a super fan of metaverse, more of the Web3 stuff, by the way. So if we will be in the metaverse, hi everyone. But I think that in the future there will be we will use more the AR. Sorry for the shameless plug, but tomorrow I have Charlie, which is maybe basically she used the TensorFlow program to basically move the windows just with their hands. I've seen this,
Wow.
which is crazy. So I've invited her to come on my YouTube channel and show this on a live stream. Sorry for the shameless plug, but you asked me, so I'm totally I'm hooked from this part. So I'm not a huge fan of VR and visors. I don't know, maybe in the future, maybe I'm just old, I don't know, but maybe in the future I see more the augmented reality. Maybe we will add, no, we will not have a screen anymore, we will have just the program. I think this is more doable. Jumping with your body inside the metaverse, I'm not a big fan, because for example now we do a lot of stuff. For example, now I'm
Right.
doing a YouTube, then I code, then I stay on Twitter, but I can do different things. If I jump on another place, it would look. I've been like I've played like World of Warcraft for many years.
Hmm.
It will sound like that you are okay. You are in a place now. What you can do? You can't use the
Right.
other tools anymore. Or maybe
Right.
I was joking with one of my friends, like, okay, so I'll stay on Twitter in the metaverse. So you come in the metaverse and then you scroll on Twitter. That would sound super crazy, of course. So I don't know if it makes sense. I think that we will found some use cases, and of course we are. What is sure is that we are going to a world which is always more connected and more. The social media has never decreased since the
Right.
90s. I'm 38, so I have seen all the evolution of the social media. Even when we in high school in the 90s we hated the Facebook, and we still hate Facebook after 30 years, but for
Hmm.
different reasons. But it's sorry, Mark. It's so basically it's something that maybe can be a thing, but I don't see a huge use case. Probably it's because I'm more interested, for example, all in the Web3 part, blockchain study, creating Web3 application. I really enjoying this part, as you probably know if you follow me on Twitter and YouTube.
Yes.
So this is my point of view. From a developer advocacy role, basically you will create content on any possible platform. As I said, probably I'm about to start the official DailyDotDev TikTok account. Wish me luck, please, because it will be on card. So wish me luck, please. And but you will create content on any possible platform, because this is where people are. Now people are
Right.
on TikTok. What a little prediction about TikTok, and I think in 10 years it will become way more serious. Now it's super funny,
Mm.
but I remember, because I'm old enough, that when YouTube started, being just the kids were on YouTube. We had not this like educational idea. Maybe because the people on the platform, they become older, so they age, and so it becomes something else. So I don't know if this will be the case with TikTok, but maybe in the future it will become more accepted. You say now we all laugh about this, but I think that it will become bigger and more. Say there will be more older people, or at least older people, because it will be the people who have an account now. In 10 years, I don't know if they will still do the same things. Probably in a different way, but I think that
Right.
it will evolve to something more serious and more boring. This is my prediction, and also maybe more educational. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree to most of the part, and I also think that the way how currently the community angle works, like the way in which we approach the community, the medium may change, but the people will definitely remain the same, right? So things will like the mediums will keep changing, but our perspective or our approach towards them, I think, will remain the same. Or you can say the goal that we have as a developer advocate, while we look at these things, that will remain constant in all of this change that is coming in the picture. So yeah, on that note, I would like to take two questions that I got from Twitter for you. One of which was, what are some of the challenges in this role according to you? Like as a developer advocate, what all challenges do you feel do you have?
I think this was from Etisha, right?
Yeah, it was from
Yeah,
Etisha. Yeah.
she has been on my YouTube channel yesterday. So hi, Etisha. She's amazing, by the way. The challenges. So the challenges, I can take this question as like what is hard in developer advocacy. There is something that I have to say. The problem with the developer advocacy is that basically you are never done. You're basically like getting water out of a well. So you can always double the views, you can double the engagement, you can create another video. There is no end. If you tell me, Francesco, please move these thousands rocks, say, okay, no problem. I'll move, then I go to eat, and I go to sleep. I'll move 1,000, and you give me, I don't know, $10, a bit more, I hope, and I'm done. I know that I'm done. I can sleep well. What the problem that sometimes I have, I don't know if it's the same for you. I always feel that I haven't done enough. Maybe we should have added the captions. Maybe we should have
Yeah.
created the title. Maybe we should have added music in background. Maybe we should have done two instead of just one. But if you live like that, basically, I don't know. It's
I
I'm trying
think
to.
that's because we are always looking for perfection. We are always striving for perfection, right? Even when I used to like code as a primarily a iOS engineer before, suppose I have coded for a certain functionality, and the other day I have to look at that particular class. I used to think, okay, I could have done this particular code in this way, so it could have been better than this. So I think that remains, I think, the same thing when you are a developer or a developer advocate, that if you are striving for something perfect, you will always find mistakes or maybe a scope of improvement in your work that you have done before, right? And I think that is true up to a certain extent also. Like, that is not just about thinking of bringing up that perfection. It is also true in some sense, because we already know that in terms of achieving those numbers as a developer advocate, there is no upper limit. there
Yeah,
is there can definitely be a lower bound, but there is no upper bound, I think.
yes, I think that it's even worse because okay, in development sometimes you are stuck for hours on a stupid bug at a semicolon. It's okay. Then you want to kill yourself, and it's okay. But in development, when you are done with a feature, you are done with a feature. So maybe you will have more features, but at least your job is done. It's more a bit more measurable. With developer advocates, say, okay, so I don't know. Now I'll have to make this TikTok. What's the goal? 1,000, 2,000, ten
Yeah,
thousand views.
that's the question.
It's there is no something that you can say, okay, Francesco, this is okay. You have done good. It's
Hmm.
always good, but it's also something which can always be improved. And so I think it's important, yeah, to set some boundaries. I don't know if you know about OKRs. So you should have some measures, even some goals, even if you fail them, but at least you have an idea. I don't know. We
Yep.
have put like, I don't know, 1.5 million impressions in 3 months on Twitter. So now we have more on the DailyDotDev Twitter account. We are happy. But otherwise, I think without them, I don't know, it would become a problem because uh, when it's just your personal account, I don't know, like your Twitter account, your YouTube account, you can always improve. You're never done, but you're doing this for yourself. So it's okay. So
Right.
okay, I've stayed more time on Twitter. Tomorrow I'll stay more time on Instagram. But if a company proposes you to create a video, it's even worse because it's for someone else. So you want to do this good, you are never happy. No, it's yeah. No,
True
for
that.
example, I'm happy that we made a live stream on Tuesday, about 250 people, almost 2,000 views already. I've talked about Web3. We had 400 subscribers in one day, in 2 hours.
Nice.
So we are happy. Okay, for we do YouTube channel with we passed 3,000 subscribers. So for a small channel, having 400 subscribers in one day it's a lot
Hmm.
more, 10% more in one day. So it's
Wow.
it's good. It would be nice to have at least something like that. I don't know. So in that case, everybody cheered. Everybody was nice. But sometimes I don't know. Sometimes something else is happening. Sometimes I don't know. You don't promote enough. So these are the hardest challenges to decide. And also sometimes you have too many activities. You have to focus on something, and the other things.
Right.
Yeah. So basically, you need a team, not just one developer advocate. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. That's true, I believe. So, and what do you think, Francesco? What can be the measurable way in which you can, measure a performance as a DevRel? Because I think we do a lot of things. We keep on creating content in 2 3 ways. We keep on engaging with the community in some ways, and by the end of the day, we end up with doing a lot of things, right? And if we have to measure our performance by the end of the day, what should be the criteria according to you? Like, what could be the possible criteria according to you to measure your performance, how you have
Mhm.
been doing for last 1 month, maybe?
I think what you can do is to check the the increase, the increasement of the on the various, for example, social media. Usually, you see an increase. An increase. What you can also do, for example, if you have a long mail list, I sent a newsletter to almost 100 of thousands of people.
I saw that tweet.
I also made a very small typo, but it's okay. At least the links, at least the links they were working. I was just missing an S. And so, for example, you can make some survey, some polls to people to talk about this. And of course, a developer advocate maybe is it's like I see sometimes developer advocate like the frontman of a rock band. So you get the bad and the good from the people, but it's not only you. There are people who are working hard behind you. So
True.
this is a hard. This is a role that takes a lot of attention, good or
Right.
bad, good or bad,
Both ways. Yeah.
but it's always a team. All as a developer advocate codes a bit, also the developers
Yeah.
they advocate in some ways. So I come from volleyball. So for me, having a team,
That's a collective
always
effort, you mean, right?
yeah, it's always a team job. So I would not just judge the developer advocate about something, but always judge about the team how has been performed, because it's always a trade-off. If the developers don't release any new feature, how can you promote new features? Or if there is a bug in the feature, then you promote something which has a problem. So it's a team job. It's teamwork. So I would not judge only the developer advocate. You can decide maybe a number of content. For example, now I'm recording 12 short videos, 3
Right.
in-depth videos. I don't know,
Okay.
some threads. So numbers just to see that you are posting, just to decide, just so you don't do more. So this is so the metrics are important. They can be measured in some ways. I also had something. I should have come with some links, but now I don't have them.
Sure, you can share those links after this particular session, and I'll link all of them inside the description of this video so that people can refer to it definitely, right? But yeah, like that was one of the ways that you just put out, because I'm also, because you know what, that whatever question I'm asking, uh, some of those questions are also my questions, because as I told you before that I am
Perfect.
also new into this space. So I am also making my way through it. I am learning on the go. So this is something which is also giving me value. Like, I don't know about the other ones, I hope they are also getting value out of it, but for me it is a pure gold. So thank you so much for that.
Yeah,
On
we're
this
just
note, I think, yeah, sure, you were saying something.
no. I mean, this is also what I do. For example, tomorrow I'll invite this person, which like she moves like she using Figma with her hands, without
Okay.
any device. So like this,
Okay.
it's crazy. I'm inviting her because I'm honestly interested to that. Even if nobody will show up in the live stream, I will be happy anyway. So because well, we will check this, and I'll check this by myself. So it's very important.
Yeah. Yeah. So on that note, I think, Francesco, we almost tried our best to unbox the DevRel role today, and I hope you are also satisfied with the questions that are set of. You already have the box
Yeah,
with you.
if you want, I can send you this.
I think
No,
I think we need to change the logo of this particular
no,
session, because it could
yeah,
be okay box and the avocado is coming out of it.
exactly. You put an avocado here with a box. Amazing.
I think that's a great idea. We can redesign the logo for it. Thank you so much for giving that particular tip. Yeah, but yeah, that was great. So, any last thoughts that you have for the people who are going to watch this session and who are currently watching this session, in terms of how they can start off, what they can do, and in general, what do you think about that? Like, your last thoughts on this session?
Yeah, okay. I can give my very personal perspective. I usually say that if you look for a job, you will be in a position when maybe people will offer you less money. So of course, sometimes you have to pay your bills, your mortgage. It is totally fine. But if you already have a job, if you already have a small social presence, And if you want to improve, my advice it will be to attract the developer advocacy role instead of chasing people like, hey, do
True.
you need a developer advocate by chance? Usually that doesn't work because I honestly think that it's a company that should choose their developer advocates, because there are so many different ways to advocate the company that I think that a, a CEO or whoever is in charge of choosing the developer advocate, they already know. I don't know, like, we want someone who is very funny. In that case, I will never have that job, for example. I don't have any chance in that case. So there are some prerequisites that maybe you don't even know. So I
True.
suggest maybe to ask to your friends, but not just, I don't know, like annoy or send DMs to companies. Maybe because companies they need, there is a huge needing of a developer advocate role. What I suggest you is to what I suggest is to show what you can do, create a lot of content. If you can create content about a specific topic, it will be 10 times better. I don't know. You focus on React content, you'll be hired by a company which, I don't know, has maybe a React framework, or maybe
Right.
they have a tool focused on React. In that case, it will be perfect. So you will start creating content for them. I also suggest to don't join a company just because developer advocacy is cool. Because as I said before, you will be, say this in quotes, the rock star. So you will be the face, the frontman or frontwoman of the company. So
Right.
don't just accept because the salary is cool. Because maybe for other jobs, like a developer, you can say, okay, yes, I'll code for a while and then let's see. If you join a company that hurts your social media presence, you will regret that. Because so I highly recommend to don't just accept a random developer advocate role. Just do your job. If you can create some videos, I think that this is what people they like to do and also watch now. So also companies are looking for people who are, let's say, decent or at least good in making videos. So I highly recommend to just focus on content creation. Don't be
Right.
stressed because companies will reach out to you. And in that case, when you will have created a lot of content and a company will reach out to you, you will be in the best position to talk about money and salaries. Because say, okay,
True.
so now you can talk about this role. So the, I'm sharing this because this worked for me multiple times during my career. So I would never looked actively for a job. Sometimes someone reaches me out and we can make a call. But if you can do this, it will be great for you. And yes,
Mm.
focus on the content creation part, networking, social media presence. You can't be wrong. Yeah, if you're an introvert, go on Twitter, and you will see.
Right, right. I think that was more of like a framework itself. In the end, you have already given a framework to at least land that job that you really want to have.
Yeah,
And the crux of it, what I got from whatever you said just now, was don't look out for that role, make that company look out for you, right?
yeah,
So do such a work on social media and everywhere that the company finds you, not you finding the company. That would be the best position in which you can ask for the things that you really want to, right?
yeah, and yeah,
So
and we'll call this framework Francesco.js if you want.
all right, you'll have to get it patent then. But yeah, that's a very, I think, valuable framework that if somebody is actually listening to it and actually implement it, because many people don't really implement things. They listen to everything, but where they lack is they don't implement it. So if somebody is going to
The,
implement that, I can also assure this, because this is also coming from my personal experience, that it really works.
yeah, or they watch tutorials like if they were Netflix series. Let's see Brett Traversi Media. Nice with popcorn.
Well, yeah. So yeah, Francesco, that was really a good conversation with you. Thank you so much, first of all, for coming to this very first episode of Unboxing DevRel. We are here to simplify the developer relations word for everyone out there, and we are trying our best to do that. And it was no other than like you who could have made the first appearance, because you have been creating a lot of content which is providing value to the whole community. And I think Malik was there, I think, throughout this complete session. And because he's saying thanks, it was a good session overall. So yeah, that has actually provided a lot of value to the whole community. So I would thank you once again for coming as our guest for this particular episode. I hope we will be making some more podcasts going forward. We might talk about some other aspect of how to create content, because you are a big player in that, right? So yes, we do have a lot of things to discuss you in the next episode whenever we will be making that, and I hope we can do it very early. But yeah, for this one, thank you so much for one last time in this session. And I will link all the things in the description down below. So, guys, you can find that out over there. I'll link um, Francesco's YouTube, Twitter, and all the other handles you can find over there. Also, the resources that you can use for getting into these things. You can also find out all these things there, including that. Like additionally, you will also find an article which has the whole conversation's crux on devrelstories.com, so that if you want to take away the core part of this particular 1 hour long, almost 1 hour long conversation, then you can do it in a 5 minute period itself. So yeah, I think it was a great one for me. I hope it was the same for you as well.
It has been for real, for real. Let's be serious for one moment. I like how you've done this. I think you're a great host, and I think that you should keep going. Good luck. It's not easy, but good luck with this kind of podcast. Amazing.
Well, thank you so much, Francesco, for that. I really believe this time that you are serious.
Maybe,
But
maybe I
yeah.
was, I was, I was. I am.
All right. On that note, bye bye, everyone. Thank you so much for attending this session. Bye bye.